Hello, everybody. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. Hey, I want to share a story with you. Yesterday, somebody tagged me on a Lubbock Avalanche Journal news story that mentioned my story here in Midland about the tunnels, and I'm going to let you see that. This was just posted right here. It's called Weird West Texas, Exploring the Underground Tunnels of Our Region, yeah, it's real interesting because it's about all over Texas, talking about the tunnels and everything. But specifically, I'm just going to talk about what she wrote concerning what's going on here in Midland. Okay, and that's here. I copied and pasted it up here at the top. She said, government-run tunnels under the Permian Basin. There's quite a bit of conspiracy-laden rhetoric about potential government-run tunnels beneath the Permian Basin. One Midland resident suggests that there are a number of illegal activities taking place underground, led by secret police and the Drug Enforcement Agency. Of course, the Lubbock Avalanche Journal is not substantiating these claims, but the theory has gained so much interest over the years since the subject began publishing online videos with this story in 2012. I'm the subject, and she never contacted me, claiming his foot was shot through the floor and people continued to burglarize his house. He even created a petition on change.org with a plea to Governor Greg Abbott to identify Midland's secret police. They were identified back in 2018. Private investigator collected the $2,000 reward, if y'all remember. First time in the history of America, a crime victim offered a reward to identify police. Inevitably, this story made its way to the popular true crime YouTube channel, garnering more than 2.5 million views. Ultimately, the producer and storyteller of that chapter, who only goes by Mike on social media, disputed several of the subject's claims and deemed the story as faked. I'm very sure there are actual tunnels under parts of Texas used for people smuggling, drug trafficking, all that stuff, Mike said in 2019, but this story doesn't make sense. This was the guy that smeared my name online, okay? What I really want to do is show you, I sent an email to this lady right here, to the reporter, Addison. Her name is Miss Addison, okay? And so it had the email address, and I sent a long fact-filled email with a whole bunch of proofs so that it leaves no doubt whatsoever this should be a national news story if she's a legitimate reporter, and I seriously doubt that, okay? But we'll find out. I shouldn't say that until she contacts me, verifies the evidence, and writes a story about this story, okay? Miss Addison, I just read your story about tunnels with the reference to my Midland story and videos. I have some information and facts that I don't think you have. I wish you had contacted me before you wrote the story, since it had a reference to the smear video that was obviously meant to cover up the many crimes and murders connected with the underground homes. I hope to see that YouTuber go to prison someday, as well as the people that perjured themselves in court. That was the ex-wife and her childhood friend, Detective Rosie Rodriguez, that tampered with evidence, falsified the police reports, and perjured herself in court. He focused on their lies and never tried to contact me for the facts and evidence that I have. I'm the victim. Actually, I'm the crippled crime victim of a home invasion and premeditated capital attempted murder that a group of police were involved in. There are now multiple people documented, let me say it again, documented as saying that tunnels and underground homes are near my home in Midland, Texas, which is located directly behind the Home Depot store. This includes many details such as how many homes, 4, how many rooms they have, 3, the year they were built, 1987, the name of the project, the Safe House Project, the minimum depth, at least 25 foot, who they were built for, the Bushes, who are from Midland, name of the engineering company on the project, PBK, cost of the project on permit, $7.35 million. Remember, all the permit records were accidentally deleted. Name of the CAD program on the project, Layla O'Brien. That's where I got some of this information from, and I recorded her, screenshotted her. And what type of parties were held there? Pedophile. That was on another recorded phone call. I also believe the oil show parties were going on down there. During the election for Midland Sheriff in 2020, I secretly recorded Sheriff candidate Joe Lozano telling me that the underground homes were the hideout for the late Sheriff Gary Painter. I made a video about this which went viral, but it was hidden from the voting public by our press and police. Kreiner was elected, and then they arrested Lozano, which I believe was to control what he said and punish him for telling me that. Several Midland people told me that they had heard about these bunkers all of their life. One of them is a friend and a member of the Midland Gem and Mineral Society. I could put you in touch with them, actually. And see, that's the thing, Miss Addison. If she would have got this information, her story would have been a lot different. Don't y'all agree? Rhonda Denman Rogers told me that the underground facility is a half block away, which is obviously not the one in my backyard. Possibly it's near a home on Westmont Court or Fairgreen Court. I found 2 possible locations for other underground homes because those homes had the same mortar problem that my home had, and they also had a nearby water well. That would still leave 1 unfound. Remember, there's 4 of them, told on a recorded phone call. Google Maps used to show a large building in my backyard on the map screen, which couldn't be seen on the satellite screen or from above ground. This is obviously one of the 4 3-bedroom underground homes I was told about. I contacted the city of Midland and I told them about this, and a week later it was deleted from Google Maps, but I have screenshots and videos showing it and proving it. Ricky Ronaldo contacted me on Facebook and told me that he used to live in my home and that him and his brother used to go in the tunnels under my home when they lived here. I have a print screen of this too. Law enforcement, this reporter, anybody could talk to him too. On March 14, 2013, I wrote the Department of Justice Safe Child Project, and I suggested they look in the underground homes here for clues into the disappearance of Haley Dunn. See, I was suspecting child sex trafficking. And 2 days later, her remains were found in Scurry County. She'd been missing for over 2 years, and as soon as I contacted the DOJ, poof, there she is. Now there's multiple people documented saying that Haley was killed in Odessa, and this includes who, where, and how. And they didn't say Sean was there. She was found by Curtis Lloyd, and come to find out, his parents own a home on Dartmouth here in Midland, next door to where the owners were reporting people in the attic. It's going on all over the place. I wondered if Curtis's was connected to this people in the attic crime ring. I suspect Curtis was chosen to find her remains after she was moved, and because of my message to the Department of Justice suggesting they come here. In 2019, I contacted Homeland Security agent Paul Cervantes, and I told him that Angie McGee Hurley, who told me about a girl that was murdered at an after-hours party going on during the Permian Basin International Oil Show in October 2010 for refusing to prostitute. Homeland's supposed to take care of human trafficking, and this was organized prostitution and crime. Actually, that was a forced prostitution murder. At the time, Angie was leaving my home and at the party in 5 minutes, and I know this because we were talking on the phone while she drove there. Obviously, the parties were held in the $1 million underground homes. I believe she parked in the Home Depot parking lot and then went underground somewhere in that store before coming back to my home via a tunnel which I'd found on historical Google Maps. And this tunnel was used by most of the people at going to those big parties, including the murdered girl. Tisha Brumley told me that her sister used to go to also parties and said they are in underground homes. I attached a screenshot of that too. 2 weeks later, the ground was dug up and concrete was poured right on the suspected human trafficking murder tunnel. But I got this on camera, and that video also went viral. I suspected that multi-billion-dollar oil companies had bribed public officials to help them cover up this forced prostitution murder and the parties, which would have many important people there. The last owner of my home, Mike Lawhon, died the week before the 2008 oil show party started in his backyard. What a coinky dinky. I found evidence that has convinced me that he was murdered here and then taken to Fort Worth. I was told that he was telling his friends about people breaking into this home before he died at 27 years old. The same crimes I reported before they shot me. His death certificate says he died in Fort Worth, but a former neighbor, Marilyn Delugy, told me twice that he died at his home and at this home, and she also said somebody else died here before him. There's another story. The Odessa American posted a death notice saying that he died in Fort Worth, but 4 days later they posted a second death notice and changed the location of death to say he died at his residence. This confirmed what the neighbor told me. I have print screens of that. I attached them too. Another Midland lady told me that the word around town is that there's an underground casino brothel here where the high rollers go. This makes a lot of sense as game rooms are all over Odessa, but there are none in Midland, at least above ground that is. And I attached the screenshot of that. On January 8, 2011, I first reported people in the attic of my home, and a year later I was shot by somebody under my home with my phone lines cut and burglar alarms going off in the attic. I was falsely labeled as crazy by the police, who we now know tampered with evidence and falsified the police reports to cover up this failed murder that left me crippled for life. I've now documented more than 50 other homeowners reporting people in the attic, which includes more than a dozen here in Midland. Many of these were overheard from my police scanner, and I have a video to prove it. Obviously, there are many more that I don't know about, and this crime epidemic has been hidden from the public by the press and the police. I wonder if Miss Addison's going to report this, right? Or she's going to cover it up. I believe that most of these mini-rigged homes have a tunnel under them from a nearby home after finding a suspected tunnel entrance in my next door neighbor's yard. It was moved or taken out after I posted on it on Facebook. That was on Google Maps, and I also attached that. I also attached the video of the 50 or the homeowners of the police scanner calls here in Midland. 11 police were accidentally caught on camera at my home after I survived the murder attempt, and they were seen staging the crime scene. It took 6 years and a $2,000 reward to get them identified. This was the first time in the history of America where a crime victim offered a reward but not a news story in the nation and no arrest. 7 years after the murder attempt, it's found out that the police had been illegally withholding the police report, which incriminated them. 5 police officers, Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale, were time-stamped to be in or at my home when they were not seen arriving on security cameras, which proved they were under my home. It was somebody under my home that shot me. Multiple proofs show that I was not shot with my gun. That makes this a capital murder attempt, folks. Aaron Peckelhofer told me on Facebook that 4 people had been murdered or died at my house before they cut my phone lines and shot me. After I made that public, he was granted $72,000 by the Midland Development Corp to start up a brewery. And the question was asked if taxpayers' money was used for hush money to cover up these multiple murders, underground homes, and tunnels. Nobody's been arrested for the 4 murders that Aaron told me about. There's more to this story. I just focused on things related to tunnels and secret underground homes in Midland. This should have been a national headline news story a long time ago. I've attached several videos and pictures which should convince anybody of the truth. You'll find the videos and attachments prove what I'm saying. God bless, buddy, and name and address and all that. Okay, so here's the one video I sent. Proof of underground homes and tunnels. Sheriff Painter's hideout. That's Joe Lozano telling me that Painter used to hide out in the underground homes, bunkers. Is talking about the underground bunkers and the protective order hearing where they brought up bunkers. People in the attic. That's a police scanner video of all the many homeowners reporting people in the attic. Because what they do, when the police are dispatched to home where a crime victim reports people in the attic, they call them crazy, refuse to look, and they don't tell them about all these other homeowners reporting people in the attic. And it's going on all over the place. That's what should be a national news story. Met with Homeland Security, and now they're pouring concrete. That's where I showed them where the human trafficking murder tunnel was located. I found it on Google Earth historical maps, and a week later, 2 weeks later, they dug up the ground and was pouring concrete. And proof of police under my home, and I didn't get that proof until 2019. And then a whole bunch of attachments here. Here's the attachment showing the tunnel back there, the underground home in the backyard. Here it is, the one of the 4 underground homes that's in my backyard. That's what was deleted, now deleted. This one right here, that shows the tunnel coming from Home Depot right here towards my house. Here's the one where Ronnie Denman Rogers says, yeah, I know it's a half block away. She didn't say 5 blocks or 4.5 blocks. It's a half block away. And I think it might be at this home right here. This map right here shows where I think possibly 3 of the underground homes are. That still leaves a 4th one. This one right here is Aaron Peckelhofer telling me that 4 people murdered in my house, and also showing where I found out that the city of Midland gave him $72,000, okay? This one, Layla O'Brien, that was the CAD programmer that told me this was put in for the Bushes, finished 87, the budget of $7.35 million on permit. And then the next half over there is where I found out all the permit records were deleted. This is where they were pouring concrete 2 weeks after I was back there with Homeland showing them where a human trafficking murder tunnel was at. I showed them that tunnel right there in that picture, okay? This one is text messages from Homeland Security and me on the day I showed him where the human trafficking murder tunnel's at. He's trying to talk me into selling my home. Tisha Ann right here, that's the one where Tisha Ann says they are in underground homes. I'll show you. There we go. This is the wrong one. Okay, well, I attached the wrong one there. I have another one, though, that says that. I hate that. Died the week before the Tucson oil shows and there's underground. This is Mike Lawhon, the previous owner, and I found out that a friend of his friend told me that he was telling his friends about people breaking this house. Same crimes I reported. They're literally killing one homeowner after another. This is where Mike Lawhon died in Fort Worth, and 4 days later they changed the death notice to say he died at his residence, and that's what the neighbor told me. Remember, Marilyn DeLugie. This right here shows Monty Gist's house on Dartmouth. That's where they were reporting people in the attic. And then I looked over, and next door, the parents of Curtis Lloyd, the guy that found Haley Dunn, lives next door. I wonder if they're in a tunnel between these houses, and there's a connection here with the people in the attic crime ring. And I can see why them people wouldn't want the Haley Dunn murder solved. Okay. The illegal word is around town that there's a casino here, and the high rollers go and bet money and whatever else they do down there, such as prostitution, forced prostitution, etc., murder, all that. You know, okay. Email to the DOJ. This is where I sent the Department of Justice an email suggesting they come to my house, look for clues in the disappearance of Haley Dunn. 2 days later, her remains are found. She'd been gone for over 2 years. Ain't that amazing? Okay. More Haley Dunn stuff here. Taryn Thomas saying that Haley was killed over here in Odessa. And I'm not going to focus on that. That's more Haley Dunn. More Haley Dunn. Dated maps. These are Google Earth maps. And that's where I was looking at what I believe where the right here, the suspected tunnel entrance in the neighbor's backyard. See that white on the ground? My home's up here, okay? And the underground home is in the backyard right here, and that's a suspected tunnel entrance. It was seen there on 12/5/09, but it wasn't seen on 3/31/08. So it was put in between them two dates, okay? And it was there when I was shot by somebody under my home, okay? Once it is still there in 2014, but it's gone by 2016. I started posting pictures on Facebook, and all of a sudden it gets moved or taken out, you know? And I mean, you know, that if that ain't a huge clue in itself, right? And right here, these are the names of the 11 secret police that the private investigator collected the $2,000 reward for and identified. You know, I sent this to that reporter. Keep that in mind. This went to a reporter of the Midland reporter, or the Midland. Or not Midland, the Lubbock Avalanche Journal, you know. And so now we'll just see if they have any integrity, any journalistic integrity. This right here was the police report, or part of the police report, that for the night of the murder attempt that was illegally withheld for 7 years. The reason they withheld it is because it incriminated police. What it did was timestamp these police right here at the top: Matt Davis, Tony Dickey, Greg Chatwell, Kenny Angel, Dylan Hale, at or in my home when they were not seen arriving on the security cameras. That's also time stamped, okay? Because the security cameras saw other police arriving, did not see these police. So then the question is, how did the police get in your home without being seen? And the answer is they come from under my home, and it was somebody under my home that shot me. Aaron Packerhofer says, can I ask you, there were 4 people who murdered, died in your house. What are their names? Yep, asked me that means he knew the names. Here's a movie. Here's a Sheriff Painter movie, Bunkers movie, People in the Attic, Met with Homeland, and proof that police were under my home. So I just want to show you, this went to Addison, B. Addison there, and she is a reporter for the Lubbock Avalanche Journal. There it is. You can email her if you want, you know, and maybe she's taking bribes to cover it up. I don't know. This is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.